Well, hello good people. Today we're going to take a look at some basic song structure and how you can get beyond 2 minutes to create a 3, 4, 5-minute song in Suno AI. I'm going to assume you're going to use the custom mode to generate lyrics or bring in your own. We'll come back to the lyrics in a second. But the first thing I want to look at here is style of music. Obviously, this is where you're going to enter the kind of song you want, whether it's a rock tune, hip hop, you want to enter that here. In my case, for this particular song, this was the song that I posted yesterday. I'll leave a link in the description below so that you can listen to it. But you can use this to your advantage, and this is where you would prompt not only the style but the feel. So in this case, I put video game soundtrack, haunting, airy female vocals. You can put in male or female vocals. And then I put some supporting words like atmospheric, piano, string orchestration. But you don't want to cram this with too much details. Be as specific as possible, but keep it simple. Now, if you're new to music theory, you don't have to know a lot of it. I'll go deeper on music theory with Suno AI in another video. But basically, you have your intro, a verse, a chorus, and your outro. That is the most basic song structure you can get. Typically, you would have one verse, one chorus, repeat another verse and another chorus. So they flip-flop, or you can have verse, verse, chorus, verse, verse, chorus. Okay, that's a very basic song structure. And depending how long the lyrics are, the feel of the song, whether it's a slow ballad or an upbeat metal tune, you could probably get away with a full song in 2 minutes. But it's more likely you're going to want a song that's like 3 to 4 minutes, maybe longer, right? So the way I would approach it is to first put in your intro in square brackets. You always want to put the structure in square brackets. And then you start off with your first verse. And then in my case, I put a second verse and one chorus. That would fill my 2 minutes of music, okay? Now keep in mind, you're not always going to get 2 minutes. The thing with AI generation, whether it's text to image, text to video, you're not going to get the same results every time. It may take a few tries. Now I'm going to switch over to my library and show you what I mean. So for the song I posted here, we're just going to listen to the end of the song. It's important to get a little bit of space after the chorus. When you transition to the next verse, there's some space, okay? That's really important. So let's go ahead and listen. This is the last line of the chorus. So there's this little music break in between. And if you get that, that's definitely what you want. Now, if it happens to cut off your lyrics, there are ways around that, which we'll look at later on. Assuming you have a song that you like, what you want to do is click on these 3 dots right here, and you'll see this option, continue from this song. So I'm going to go ahead and click this. And on the left, you're going to see this option now, continue a new clip from a song at this time. This is important to keep in mind because when I stitch the next part, I'm going to show you how we can use this to our advantage. So at this point, what's going to happen though is that you're going to have the same 2 verses and chorus that you put in previously. So you would have to generate new lyrics based on the same subject. So if you used the generate lyrics option, you would have to type in the same description that you put in to generate similar lyrics. Or if you're creating your own lyrics, you simply just have to paste those in here. However, one thing to keep in mind, when you're extending your song from those 2 minutes or 1:50 in my case, now you can only extend it to 1 minute. So because my song is very slow and the pacing is very relaxed, 1 minute may not be enough time for me to get both another verse and chorus in there. For something more upbeat, you're totally fine. You could probably fit in another 2 verses and a chorus. Just know that you only have 1 minute to extend this part. So what was happening in my case, this part was getting cut off. That's fine. As I said, we can work around it. But for most of you, I would suggest just put in 1 verse and a chorus or 2 verses, and then you would hit continue and generate your next part. Now, when you generate the next part, you'll see a tag part 2. And remember, for the first part, there was this musical break. I'm going to just play the beginning for you, and you'll see that it gets right into the verse.
Sometimes I feel like I'm in my own little world.
And it worked out. When you stitch it together, it'll blend quite nicely. But I'm going to skip towards the end here, and you're going to see that you'll notice here that I only have 2 lines in my chorus. This should say chorus. I was trying something different and I left bridge in there. Just ignore that. But anyway, my chorus was getting cut off all the time because it was too slow. So I ended up just doing the first 2 lines on this part and the next 2 lines in part 3. So I'm going to play this for you and show you how I connected it to part 3. Let's go ahead and press play.
I won't let them steal my joy today. I'll rise above the whisper.
So you see how it gets cut off there. So what I ended up doing was finding the part where after today, where was it in the timeline? And I found at about 56 seconds or so is where I wanted to continue from. So again, in this case, I went to the 3 dots here, continue from this song. But instead of the full 1 minute, I simply changed this to 56 seconds so that it would continue from that part. And then in the lyrics, I had the final 2 lines as part of the chorus to start. And then I added another chorus to end it with outro in brackets. And I went ahead and generated it. If we go back to my library, you see part 3 here. So I've stitched 3 audio clips together, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 1 minute roughly. And then you'll see here the full song and the way to do that. So you see part 3 here, and let's assume that you like the song, everything sounds great. The last thing to do is to go back into the 3 dots here, and then we're going to select get whole song, and then it's going to generate the whole song here. But as always, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. In the next Suno AI video, I want to talk a little bit about doing instrumentals because there are some really cool things you can do with just instrumental music. And I find Suno AI actually shines better with instrumentals. The vocals are still hit and miss. It tends to have that auto-tune sound every now and then. And depending on the genre, it may sound good. Sometimes it doesn't. It's not really consistent yet. But with the instrumentals, you can do some really cool and fun stuff with it. And yeah, until that next video, I'll see you when I see you.